3.66 miles long. Behold the king of all NASCAR racetracks, Talladega. Big packs, 30-plus cars, inches apart, racing on the freight train of fate. One slip, one tiny slip can end anyone's day. Here, as they begin the path to Atlanta, heading through the elimination race today here at Talladega for the EA Sports 500. Last Friday night, Kurt Busch became the first Chase driver to punch his ticket into the round of 8. With his win Friday night, the Dylan Murray-Mark Martin saga continues heading into this race. Historically, DEI and Richard Childress have been the kings that everyone bowed down to with the restrictor plate tracks. Last time we were at a restrictor plate track was the Pepsi 400. Jimmy Johnson won that race to get into the playoffs. Will anybody try to upset the DEI team? Enjoy 500 miles. But first, Motorhead.
The King of Kings. Bow down to the King. Bow down to the King. Bow down to the King. Into the dirt. It will be done. Now feel your fear. There can be only one. Bow down. Bow down. Bow down. Bow down. Bow down to the King. Bow down. Bow down. Bow down. Bow down. The King is here. Now feel your fear. The King of Kings. All hail the King. On your knees to the King. The King of Kings. There is only one.
Qualifying just wrapped up a little while ago. As we take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon are on the front row heading into this race. The drivers to watch for, obviously, Earnhardt Jr., look for him to be strong. He's currently below the cut line. Dylan Murray and Jeff Burton are two other drivers that we have to watch, and Kevin Harvick. Harvick and Jr., as of right now, both need to finish this race. But Dylan Murray and Jeff Burton, well, we're updating this scenario. Burton obviously needs to win no matter what. Dylan Murray needs to lead a lot of laps today if he wants to have a shot at making it into the round of 8. So you see a car on the racetrack, looks like Robbie Gordon and Jack Sprague getting ready to turn laps here for happy hour. So again, the 4 drivers to watch: Earnhardt Jr., Dylan Murray, Jeff Burton, and Kevin Harvick. Actually, sorry, it's not Earnhardt Jr. It is Mark Martin. My mistake. but Junior is getting close. But Jeff Gordon, he's safe in the round of 8. He just wants a good finish. You could probably factor Gordon in there as well. So Martin, Murway, Burton, and Harvick are the 4 drivers you have to watch. Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick just need to have a good day and escape. Dylan Murway needs to lead the most laps, or lead a lot today. And Jeff Burton has to win.
Welcome to today's NASCAR Winston Cup Series event, the EA Sports 500, live on MRN from the Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. We should be in for quite a show today, Barney.
Let me sum it up for you all. 2.6 miles, 4 lanes, 190 miles an hour. Just doesn't get much better. Let's just hope these guys can stay out of the big one.
The 64 car will try to use this race to close in on the points lead.
Being in the top 5 is a huge boost in self-confidence. I know everyone on the team is very happy with their performance this season, and rightfully so.
Greg Biffle has been near the back of the pack this season.
Well, you're right. You can see the disappointment in his crew as well. These guys will bounce back, though. All they need is just one good finish to put their minds back on track.
Jamie McMurray made his first start in Winston Cup here in 2002.
He had a top 5 starting spot. Out of the 6 races he ran in 2002, he had 4 top 5 qualifying runs, and he picked up a win.
Start for 50.
And here's the starting lineup.
In the front row are the Home Depot Chevrolet and the Dale Jr. Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon, the NASCAR Winston Cup points leader, will line up in the 3rd spot. In row 3 are the 64 car and the Lowe Chevrolet. In row 4 are the DeWalt Power Tools Ford and the Alltel Dodge. Rounding out the top 10 starting spots are the Interstate Battery Chevrolet and the Rubbermaid Sharpie Ford. The 6th row has the 31 car and the Stacker 2 Dodge. In row 7 are the 40 car and the Tide Pontiac. Starting the race from row 8 are the Citgo Ford and the Motorcraft Ford. And in row 9 are the Granger Ford and the Valvoline Pontiac. Starting in row 10 will be the U.S. Army Pontiac and the UAW Delphi Chevrolet. In row 11 are the Kodak Maxville Pontiac and the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. In row 12 are the Dodge Dealers UAW Dodge and the Dodge Dealers UAW Dodge. Row 13 finds the GM Goodrich Chevrolet and the Net Zero Pontiac. The 14th row has the Hooters Ford and the O2 car. In row 15 are the UPS Ford and the BAM Racing Dodge. Starting the race from row 16 are the Haviland Dodge and the Target Dodge. Row 17 has the Cheerios Dodge and the Kellogg Chevrolet. Starting at row 18 will be the 38 car and the America Online Chevrolet. In row 19 are the Autobahn Ford and the 27 car. In row 20 are the 57 car and the Pennzoil Chevrolet. Back Back in row 21, we have the Georgia Pacific Dodge and the Team Rusty Dodge. And rounding out the field is the Caterpillar Dodge.
There you see the starting lineup today in the EA Sports 500. At the end of the afternoon, 12 drivers become 8 as we move on to the round of 8 next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. So, keys to watch out for. Could the Mark Martin, Dylan Murway saga continue? Can anybody stop the DEI cars? The big one? And, oh yeah, playoff implications as well. Tony Stewart gets ready to bring the field down as we are underway at Talladega. Whoa, Jimmy Johnson came across 2 lanes of traffic, probably trying to make a third lane get past the 6 of Mark Martin. That could have been deadly already on lap 1. And how about Jeff Gordon? He looked like he was going to try to get a good run out front to get up there with Tony Stewart and squeeze in line with Earnhardt Jr. That obviously didn't work out. And Martin getting a little sideways. Everyone gets out of it okay. Another thing to keep in mind, we mentioned it at all the restrictor plate tracks earlier this season, the smaller fuel cells could play a pretty big factor in who wins this race and could possibly, if this keeps up, things keep going the way they are, these smaller fuel cells could play into who gets into the next round. You got 4 chasers. Dylan Murway's trying to look for a way to maybe get Gordon to work with him, but he seems like he's kind of stalling out behind Junior. And you got 4 cars breaking away from the field by themselves. It's kind of hard to really do anything unless you get one guy to agree to do a move with you. As see Dylan trying to go to the top side with Junior. Gordon shuts the door. So after that slight save, the save with Mark Martin, that really did bunch up the field. Looks like Earnhardt Jr. is getting a push from the 24, and you can move Earnhardt Jr. to the lead at Talladega. You may have just heard the loudest recorded cheers on the Richter scale just now with Jeff Gordon pushing an Earnhardt out front. And look at this. A guy driving a paint scheme that his Junior's father made famous is now coming to Junior's back bumper. How about that? Dylan's got a fast hot rod today. Unfortunately, he got taken out in a crash with Mark Martin at the Pepsi 400 last restrictor plate race to really jumble up the order. He's got the same hot rod. He wants to get out front. But the problem is, again, you get 2. But the thing here, you got 2 cars lined up. You got Earnhardt Jr. and Dylan Murway lining up. They're going a lot faster. They're starting to pull away from Jimmy and the rest of the group. It looked like Jimmy fell back with his teammate, Jeff Gordon. Dylan Murway is hooked up to the back bumper of Earnhardt Jr., and he is gone. Emphasis on the word gone. 5 laps complete. You see Dylan Murway and Earnhardt Jr. immediately go to the top. It looks like Dylan's been trying to move, but it looks like Jr. is gluing himself to that top line in that far outer part of the groove. But the thing is, there's no set groove that everybody migrates to at Talladega. The set groove would be whichever line's fastest or whichever car is giving you the best push, to put it lightly. Except when you're by yourself, Dylan Murray is giving Junior an amazing push right now. And he's going to use this to go around him and try to take the lead, maybe coming off of 4. Junior has more speed. Dylan tucks back in line. Matt Kenseth has made his way into the top 5 as well. He's in 4th right now, passing Jeff Gordon, while Tony Stewart falls out of the top 5 right now. Another thing to note, too, when you're in the bottom lane where you got a big group of cars behind you, watch what Junior's doing. Every time Dylan's trying to make a pass, Junior usually tries to block, but Dylan had more speed to get by Junior there. And I guess Junior's going to probably fall in line here to let Junior push for a little bit. All right, ready? Come on, bud. Let's push. Give the spotter the 64. Tell him, don't drag the brake. Don't lift. I'll come to him. Therefore, another thing, too, when you get these big groups, watch what the leader does. The leader in the second car in line is trying to make passes. He's trying to make moves left and right. But he either stalls out or the leader comes up to catch it. And how about this? Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart have made their way into the top 5. Anyway, usually the leader, anytime a car behind makes some kind of a move, like if Junior's down low, Dylan comes to take Junior, to pick up Junior. If there's a car up high, Dylan goes up high. He did the same thing with Junior in the Pepsi 400, believe it or not. He was trying to block. He did the same thing. Junior got nose to nose, side to side with him, side by side at the line. You see there, Junior tries to make another move, but the air stalls him out. Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, and Tony Stewart round out the top 5. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson have been shuffled out of the pack, out of that second group, back to the rest of the pack. They're currently running by themselves, just trying to stay out of trouble. Since Gordon does have success here at these restrictor plate tracks, and Jimmy has very minimal experience other than winning the Pepsi 400 earlier this season to get into the chase. It's honestly a smart move for Jimmy to just tuck in with Gordon, away from traffic, and just ride. And I think that's what their angle is right now. Should be getting close to green flag stops here very shortly. It looks like We should see some cars come in next few times or so, next time by. Now Dylan tucks up with Junior. And then Dylan goes down to the bottom to try to break the draft. The problem is you get two cars trying to break the draft for so long, it brings another group in, as you got Ryan Newman giving a whale of a push to the 17 at Kenseth. So I believe maybe they're trying to get up in line. Question is, do they have momentum? Kenseth looks down low, take third. Now Dylan's got two cars to worry about and 2 lanes to block. Newman's pushing Kenseth. Stewart is up there with Junior. Now Kenseth's down low, and then Dylan goes to the top side to pick up Junior. This is the kind of racing that these drivers have to do. They have to make these blocks. They have to be aggressive on the track. They have to go multiple lanes. Then Dylan comes down to block Kenseth, who gave a whale of a push to the 12 of Ryan Newman, by the way. Now Kenseth is by himself. Dylan tries breaking the draft, and then Kenseth is going to fall back in line. And he's going to fall to about 4th. Now Junior's by himself. Here does Stewart go to help Dylan. He leaves his buddy out. Wow. Actually, I think they're coming into pit road. So you can give the lead to the 8 of Earnhardt Jr. as we begin green flag stops. Great pit stop there from Dylan Murway. Great, which is definitely what that team needed. Comes back out. Passes Johnny Benson on the apron. See who Dylan's going to try to team up with here. As we have begun our first round of green flag pit stops today. Our cars blending back in line. Got Tony Stewart up ahead. You got Jeff Gordon. I think I saw a third car back there as well. Couldn't tell who that was. Anyways, you got cars getting back in line. On the track, Elliott Sadler, Mike Skinner, Jeremy Mayfield. Ricky Craven, Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett entering the track up ahead, and it looks like it's going to end with Nadu possibly, as stops will cycle out. Here's Ricky Rudd. Dylan Murway sucks to the back of Tony Stewart. That could get a little interesting. Martin has been getting really... Oh, contact! They sorted out somehow. It was a bit of a scary moment there in the trial, but Dylan Murway was trying to side draft Tony Stewart, it looked like. Hey, check the right side next time by. I don't think there's any damage. It was a little scary there. Ooh, that was. I was like, oof. Hell of a drive, man. Here comes Dylan to get himself to the back bumper of Nemechek's car. Let's get out the gas a little bit to team up with Nemechek. He needs these kinds of drafting partners to get to the front. He needs to hook up. He basically needs to find partners. If you're Dylan Murway or Jeff Burton, you need to find your partners where you can. Which means if you have to team up with Joe Nemechek, team up with Joe Nemechek. Or with a guy like Nemechek, team up with him. And honestly, great strategy move, though, to let Nemechek know you're going to team up with him instead of just running into the back of him, causing a wreck, because he was in that last lap crash in April between him, Murway, and him and Sadler. And this is the kind of stuff that teams have to do. You know, team up, find your partner. And believe it or not, it's actually working. Is Dylan Murway's pushing Nemechek well past Tony Stewart. And their next target looks to be Bobby Labonte. And the 6 of Mark Martin. Hey, Dylan can give a great push, man. Nemechek was announced Saturday. It was announced Friday evening that Brian Vickers, who is a rookie in the NASCAR Busch Series, will be driving the 25 paint scheme in 2004. He is also rumored to bring his sponsor GMAC and Dytech, which is a sponsor from the Busch Series in the 87, or one of the 87 sponsors, that up-and-comer Kyle Busch is driving the ARCA West Series as of right now. Hendrick Vickers is rumored to bring Dytech and GMAC to the 25 camp in 2004, as looks like UAW might be shifting its way out of the sport. Mark Martin is one of those drivers that is below the cut line right now. He needs to, or towards the cut line. Murway had led a couple laps. He needs to have a good finish here as well. As the field has pretty much spread out into individual groups. Dylan Murway trying to team up with Nemechek to get by the 6 of Mark Martin again. Martin continuing to drag the brakes. Oh, contact. A little bit of a big moment there. Martin hits the brake. So Nemechek got a bit of a scary push in the trial. Tell that 64 that, man, he needs to calm down a little bit. Because that could have wrecked us all. Yeah, I'll remind him. You're doing fine. He gave me a heck of a push, but the guy in the 64 needs to calm down. And just like that, you see Dylan Murway and Mark Martin teaming up. Looks like Bill Elliott with a blown motor on the apron. We do stay green. So the race leader right now is Matt Kenseth. And Mark Martin spins to the inside. He does not hit anything, but the caution does come out. as Martin slides to the bottom of the racetrack. Looks to be just a small spin there. Might have been a mistimed push to on the right front rear there of the 64 and the 6. Mark Martin has gotten back going. We are racing to the caution flag. Mark Martin looks to rejoin the race. Matt Kenseth takes the caution flag. Just a slide to the bottom. Gets it righted. Gets it back green. So Dylan Murway stays out. Everyone else pits. This could get interesting. Green flag is back into the air. As in, we might be having more cautions here. That qualified things are going to get a little crazy. Dylan needs these laps out front. Here comes Johnson to the bottom, making it 3 wide. Their way to the top. Oh, contact. Bit of a big moment there. Here comes Junior down low. Dylan has to make these kinds of moves. Bottom to top. Watch all the lanes, man. They're pulling the air. Watch Junior. He's kind of dancing all over you. How about Joe Nemechek up in the top 5, pushing the 17 of Kenseth? Those two guys working together could allow Nemechek to maybe have a shot at the lead. Murway is trapped in the middle. He moves to the top lane with Newman. There's Nemechek's teammate, Jeff Gordon, back there. It's in line. There will be 20 laps to go. Kenseth is going to go into the pack. Second caution of the afternoon. Ooh, that was scary. For Jimmy Johnson, he was inches from getting caught up in that. I think that was scary. Pace car is off. Green flag back into the air. Earnhardt Jr. is your race leader. with that moment, Dylan Murway needed a pit. He's back below that cut line by 5 points. He needs to pass 5 cars. The closest car to him right now would be the 6 of Mark Martin, or the 17 of Kenseth. And considering those two got together that last caution, I guess Kenseth might owe him a favor. This might get ugly. Oh, Kenseth! He took a shot. He stays straight. Kenseth might have just taken himself out of the playoffs. That moment might have been all Dylan needed. That moment there might have been all Dylan needed to maybe keep his hopes alive to fight another day. Question is, how much fuel do these cars have? Do they have enough to make it to the finish? Murway is 33rd. Kenseth is 42nd. And lost the draft. Bobby Labonte has taken the lead. Got cars heading to pit road, which is great news. Sadler, Jarrett, and several others to pit road. With that pit strategy, this might be enough if once these cars cycle and if Dylan gets a caution, that could be enough to put him in victory lane. $14 laps to go. Oh, Kevin LePage got the apron a little bit. We do stay straight. And more cars to pit road. Looked like McMurray was the only car that peeled off. Murway trying to block multiple lanes. St. Barrett hits the wall. Cars exiting in the pit road. Biffle is one of them. Kevin LePage is trying to look for an out. Ward Burton blends onto the track. So does the 4 of Mike Skinner. Murway tucking in with Petty, trying to get to the top 20. Kenny Wallace goes up high. Murway's got to go. You can't stay behind all these guys. The caution has come out. Debris from somebody's car. As we are under caution again for the second time today in the EA Sports 500. Bobby Labonte takes the caution flag. And the debris is from Kenseth. He had a lot of damage from somebody, probably from the Merway incident. So Kenseth's hopes are basically done. He went from being inside the round of 8 to outside the round of 12. Dylan Merway and Mark Martin and Jerry Nadeau all stay out. This might get nutty. Slow start. A lot of cars get into each other. 8 laps to go.
Number 6 is coming left.
Could get close to the red flag lap here. Mark Martin with a lot of speed. I'd block him, dude. Block that 6 car. Get ready to start blocking if you need to. That could get big. Both drivers looking to advance to the round of 8. Jerry Nadeau up there trying to play spoiler. Oh, Dylan pushes Martin up. Martin pushes Dylan up the track. Contact is made. Dylan slides and still keeps the lead out of all this. Here comes Earnhardt Jr. Now does Dylan go with Jr.? Here comes Stewart with a push to pushing the 8 of Jr. to the second spot. That's what Merway needs to see. Oh, and this time's the block. Bad block. Merway throws it was a huge block on the 6 of Mark Martin. This is exactly what Dylan needs to do. 7 laps to go. Dylan somehow keeping the lead. Martin trying to bump draft him in the corner. If there's a caution, this could end the race. Merway doing all he can to block. And probably save fuel too. Because if he runs out, it's going to get big. Rudd with a push to the 6. Junior down low all by himself. Martin took a shot. There they come roaring back. Merway has been throwing blocks all over the place today. High, middle, low. That might have knocked Martin out of contention. Newman down on the bottom lane. 5 to go. That's Joe Nemechek. Dylan pushed him into the top 5 earlier. Newman down by himself. 3 wide, multiple lanes. Oh man. Will Dylan be able to make it? There needs to be a caution. There's going to have to be a caution if he wants to win this. Oh, contact! Merway and Johnson tapped out of the pack. They stay straight. Somehow we haven't wrecked yet. As of right now, Dylan Merway is through to the round of 8. He needs a yellow, otherwise he's out. And there goes Nadu. Into the pack, big wreck. Several cars involved. That may have just ended the race. Oh, Dale Jarrett, Kyle Petty, and more. Nadu into the pack. Montgomery's involved. Ward Burton got a piece of it. And it looks like Tony Stewart is going to win the EA Sports 500 at Talladega.
This one's over. We may have missed the setup a little bit on this one. We'll try to get you a better ride next time. Lots of caution laps were run in this race.
Well, it was definitely a busy day for the Pontiac pace car driver. I really don't know why we had so many. Just one of those races, I guess.
The 64 car got into some trouble and did some damage to his car.
You know, some of these teams have multiple cars, and a race like this won't set them back too far. It's the guys who have only one or two cars that suffer the most. But hey, it'll make you learn to take care of your car in a hurry.
The 64 car may have some friends out of the track after this one.
Yeah, you know the golden rule. Well, it applies in NASCAR as well. You got to treat other drivers with respect in order to earn theirs.
This is MRN signing out for now, and we hope you'll join us again for another exciting NASCAR Winston Cup race real soon.
So with this, let's take a look at the drivers that do advance and the drivers that don't. Jerry Nadeau and Dale Jarrett, they were in that hard wreck. So Tony Stewart wins today at Talladega. He advances to the round of 8. Ryan Newman and Earnhardt Jr. also advance, along with Kurt Busch. So the other 4 are Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson. Mark Martin is the first driver out. Bobby Labonte and Dylan Murway. Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, and Jeff Burton do not advance. So, again, the drivers that do not advance to the round of 8, Jeff Burton, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, and Mark Martin. So, 3 of the 4 Roush cars that were in the playoffs are out. Out here. The drivers that do advance, Dylan Murway, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, Dale Jr. So we got 1, 2, 3, 6, and Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart were the only drivers to win the races here in the round of 12 in this one. So drivers that, in terms of the race today, Earnhardt Jr. did lead the most laps. However, ends up finishing 3rd. How about this? Joe Nemechek coming from 20th to 5th, leading a couple laps. Steve Park finishing 6th from 36. Jeff Green coming from 40th after wrecking in practice on Thursday. And then Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson rounding out the top 10. Looking through the rest of the pack, Dylan Murway led 15 laps. And he led the most, so he fulfilled his goal today of leading the most laps to advance. So drivers that fell out of the race, none from crashes, believe it or not. However, the cars that were involved in that last incident, Ward Burton, Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, and Jerry Nadeau were the 4 cars involved. And now it's getting to crunch time. as we begin the round of 8 with the Texas Roval. So, preview for the round of 8, where the winner in any of these races gets an automatic berth in the Championship 4 at Atlanta. So, Texas will be next Saturday at 3 o'clock. Homestead will be the Saturday after that at 3:30. The Subway 500 at Martinsville will be at 1:30 Eastern. And the Championship 4 will be Friday night at 8. First across the line will be the champion. So, Tony Stewart won the pole. Dylan Murray led the most laps. Jeff Green passed the most cars. Earnhardt Jr. the best lap. Jack Sprague was the best rookie. And Jimmy Johnson made the best pass. Dylan Murray pretty much has the Rookie of the Year at this point. And then Chevrolet is also locked up the Manufacturer Championship for 2003. And we got 4 drivers who have led 100 total laps this season. Next Saturday, 3 o'clock, the last wild card on the road to Atlanta, the Texas Roval. We'll see you Saturday at 3.